What's going on, everybody? I am
the Raging Brolita.
But I wasn't always so. Now, this is a video I would never have made maybe 15 years ago, and for the longest time, what I'm about to talk about was my single greatest nightmare that anybody would find out about it. However, given how I've had to endure the deaths of 11 friends, family, and co-workers over a few short years, it's taken its toll on me, yes, but it's also made me realize just how fragile and short life really is. On top of that, given how our own government is letting its own citizens die, this foreboding sense that I've had that the world itself seems to be going mad more and more, year after year, and the sheer amount of absolute coincidences in recent years. I guess the story of how one man grew to love girls' underwear seems pretty paltry by comparison, wouldn't you say? So all the deaths that I've had to endure made me come to the conclusion that I have no idea how much time I've got left here on this stinking mudball, so screw it. While I've still got the chance, while I'm still above ground and still breathing, I'm going all in, and I'm just going to tell the truth. That, and I firmly believe that people respond very well to just, plain bald-faced honesty, and that's what I'm going to do here. This, boys and girls, is the story of how I became
the Raging Brolita.
It was nothing so simple as, oh, I'm gonna create a guy who dresses all cutesy as a girl,
but talks in a death metal growl and swears like a fucking sailor, and is a huge fan of bloodshed and violence.
Oh, no. It's got quite the extensive backstory, going all the way back to the late 1980s. So let's kick off our shoes and get comfy and allow me to wax a little poetic on you, won't you? Ah, the 1980s. What a time to be alive. A decade of bold attitude and vibrant colors. Hot pink and neon green hues and fluorescent shades reigned supreme. I remember vividly, there was this one girl who boarded the bus and passed by me in her hot pink socks. They were slouchies, a style popular among girls back then. I couldn't quite put my finger on why I fixated on them, but regardless, that tiny moment lodged the seed of obsession in my young mind. Once planted, it quickly took root. That seed in my mind would later blossom into a fascination. A few short years passed, and it was now the early 90s, when kids were reliant on their imaginations for entertainment. My cousins and I were no different. We invented a game where one of us would leave the room while the other hid a small toy or object, like a Super Ball. We'd give the hider a certain amount of time before the seeker had to find the hidden item, with only warm and cold hints to guide them. It was a simple and creative way to pass the time before the world became dominated by screens. In one memorable game, it was my turn to seek, and the hiding spot proved to be quite unexpected. She had deliberately concealed the toy in her underwear drawer. Why she chose that spot, I couldn't say. Perhaps add a dash of humor, or just for the sake of being playful and silly. Or maybe she was even more clever than I gave her credit for. Despite my assumptions about her drawers being off limits, she took the chance and hid the toy there anyway. Needless to say, I failed that round, falling into her trap. With the newfound knowledge that her underwear drawer was fair game, I found myself drawn back to it when the next turn came to me. I tried to remain quiet, but curiosity got the better of me as I slid the drawer open, revealing an array of girlish treasures laid out bare before me. Uninterrupted and unhesitant, I reached in and pulled up one pair of her panties, holding them up to examine closely. In that moment, I had no idea that such a seemingly insignificant act would irrevocably alter me forever. The panties themselves were simple yet alluring, their white hue like a canvas ready to be painted, contrasted elegantly with the pink text of the brand embroidered onto the scalloped elastic waistband. Haines her way. Those 3 simple words, in a soft yet resolute tone, proudly marked their feminine nature with unquestionable certainty. There was no mistaking it. These weren't just any undergarments. They were undeniably, unapologetically, the pinnacle of girly, something always out of my reach, but now they were in my young male grasp. The sudden rush of sensations coursing through my body was overwhelming. My heart thundered so fiercely it threatened to break free, and my throat dried and strangled shut, and my arms and knees trembled uncontrollably. The blood in my veins transformed into ice, while my skin felt aflame. My young body experienced a sensation beyond anything I had ever known before, a rush unlike any other, flooding through me with an intensity that made me feel both paralyzed and intensely alive. This new, unknown force stirred a mixture of interest and excitement deep within me, leaving me completely bewildered and captivated. Despite the whirlwind of emotions and thoughts swirling within my young mind, there was one clear, overpowering desire that cut through the chaos. I knew, without understanding why, I had to take those panties home with me. To walk away without them would have loomed at the forefront of my every thought unless I had done so. With a hasty, trembling hand, I shoved the treasured fabric into my pocket. I would later mount my bike and carefully secure my precious trophy, riding home with a thrilling sense of achievement and a sense of the forbidden. As I clutched the panties in the seclusion of the bathroom back at home, an intense wave of ecstasy cascaded over and all through me once again. Yet, it was tempered with a flicker of uncertainty. I grappled with the rising question. Do I try them on? Was that too much of a line to cross? Was it something a boy was even supposed to do? The thought of putting on girls' underwear seemed like an act almost forbidden, a taboo. Yet there was an undeniable lure, an irresistible pull that tugged at my heart. As the internal conflict within me raged, a small, defiant voice whispered in my mind, daring me to break the taboo. No, I thought. This has to be why I brought them home. Why else would I have stolen them? With a mixture of trepidation and anticipation, I set the panties on the edge of the sink and prepared myself. Time seemed to stand still for a moment, as if the very universe itself was holding its breath to witness this very occasion that it had masterfully crafted specifically for me. With a quick, almost shaky motion, I reached out and put them on. There was no turning back. The line had been crossed. As the soft cotton embraced my skin, a sensation akin to being lifted up into the clouds overcame me. The very stars seemed to twinkle and dance with me in their celestial waltz, a cosmic celebration acclaiming this new, unexpected feeling that they had conspired to bring this moment to life, granting me a level of elation I had never before experienced. My young, throbbing heart was like a shooting star, streaking through the heavens with a newfound euphoria and a revelation. More than most boys, I'd always deeply loved the sight of a girl's underwear, whether on TV, in comics, or from getting a peek at the girls in school or in church. And now, here I was, the lucky lad, indulging in a pinched pair of my own. And thus, these panties became my secret little treasure, a portal to a world of unparalleled thrill. Every so often, I would secretly put them on in the bathroom, indulging in the delightful sensation they always brought about. However, There was one particular occasion that has remained etched in my memory to this very day. On a solitary evening, with the Super Nintendo as my usual babysitter and a borrowed copy of Final Fantasy III occupying me, I retrieved my prized possession from the closet. Instead of merely relishing the feel and look of them in the privacy of the bathroom, I decided to take a different, perhaps courageous step. I slipped on my pair of shorts over the panties and proceeded to resume my gameplay. The knowledge that I was covertly wearing a pair of girls' underwear while navigating through the virtual world of Final Fantasy III heightened the excitement and added an extra layer of enjoyment to my gaming experience. Whenever I revisit the town of Zozo in its iconic theme song, I am instantly transported back to that day, reliving the rush of sensations and the thrilling secret that I kept. It's quite true to say that we humans are ineluctably compelled to push the envelope and the thrill of pushing boundaries, and I was certainly no exception. After a couple of years of cherishing my secret little treasure, I yearned for a higher sense of excitement. When the opportunity once again presented itself, I found myself drawn back to my cousin's fateful drawers. I was enchanted by the array of pastel colors, polka dots, hearts, ruffles, and other patterns adorning her socks. I knew I had to have some of that delightful cuteness for myself. Those cute little socks were indeed delightful when I brought them home. Seeing my feet adorned in such feminine footwear sent yet another enormous thrill soaring through my pre-adolescent heart. And when paired with the panties, the rush was amplified, creating an unforgettable experience. I can vividly recall nights as a preteen, alone in my dimly lit room, illuminated only by the glow of my alarm clock. Tucked under the covers, I lovingly admired my treasured trophies as I reveled in the sheer audacity of what I was doing and the incredible sensations it sparked within me. Among my secret treasures, one brand of panties particularly stood out: Love Pats. The brand slogan, "For girls only," had me grinning and chuckling defiantly, whispering to myself, "Not anymore, they're not." It was a playful rebel moment, knowing full well I was now part of a forbidden club of my own making. I was standing alone in a clandestine victory, a solitary warrior on a secret battlefield. The thrill of my covert victory was intoxicating. By the time I reached the 8th grade back in 1997, my fascination and desire for these treasured secrets had reached unprecedented levels. I decided to take a bold step, and I confiscated a skirt and a blouse from my cousin. Stepping into a fully feminine ensemble was an awesome experience. The feeling of being completely dressed up as a girl added a new dimension of excitement to my secret world. But alas, the religious atmosphere I grew up in cast a shadow over my secret activities. I wrestled with guilt for what I was doing. Yes, for one, I was stealing from my cousins. But more importantly, I felt caught between my desires and the constraints of my beliefs. Now, no need to gather the pitchforks and torches. I eventually confessed everything to my cousins in adulthood, and they were surprised to learn it was me all along, and they thought it was each other. Incredulous, I chuckled to myself, utterly surprised by my own success. All these years, I had managed to keep my secret obsession hidden. I guess I was more stealthy and clever than I realized. But to make amends, I generously gifted them Victoria's Secret gift cards, which they gladly accepted. But I digress. This is hardly where my story ends. Occasionally, the weight of guilt led me to purge my precious collection, convinced that my actions were sin. When I had nothing to call my own, I felt hollow and empty inside, as if a vital part of me was missing. During those periods, I may have even experienced a touch of mild depression. It was only when I once again obtained a sacred item and hid it away that I felt whole once again. Collecting these treasures became a way to regain my sense of completeness and purpose. The guilt and the longing for the thrill would come and go in cycles, but the compulsion to collect always seemed to win. As I grew older and gained more self-awareness, I came to the realization that the rush I had experienced all along was, in fact, a form of sexual arousal, something I was too young to fully comprehend when I was just 10 years old. I discovered the term transvestic fetishism, which describes the intense sexual arousal that stems from wearing the clothes of the opposite gender. I felt that this term accurately captured my own experiences, as I found that I met nearly every single criterion for it, including the common onset, exposure to one's sister's or cousin's clothes. The early 2000s found me in college and a bit more open about my love for panties, but I kept the secret of what I actually did with them hidden. I never revealed my true habits, enjoying the mystery and the thrill of leaving others guessing. It was all about subtly messing with their minds and watching as they tried to figure out the truth on their own. In 2010, I found myself dating a woman who had tread the same college ground as me, and we met thanks to our overlapping social circles. She already knew about my affection for gathering panties, so I mustered the courage to confess the complete truth to her after a month or so of us dating, making her the first person to ever know. That moment was a pivotal point, to make it or break it, as they say. To my relief, she responded with a simple yet accepting, "Okay." 10 years have passed since that woman became my wife. Not only had my wife accepted this part of me, she played a significant role in helping me expand and nurture my passion for collecting. My once modest collection has grown immensely, far exceeding what I could have ever imagined as a kid. And now, let us look back on my brief stint as a cell tower climber in the winter of 2018, a time where I found myself shaking my head and questioning my career decision. Perhaps things would have turned out differently if I had started the job at a different time of year, rather than the onset of winter. But as it was, I found myself braving the chilling heights and the treacherous winds, feeling the full force of winter's wrath as I perched above the trees and buildings. The freezing temperatures were relentless, even requiring a soak in a hot bath to restore feeling. While battling the freezing temperatures and swaying motion high above the ground in that swinging death spire, I caught glimpses of the nearby highway down below, pondering the lives of the people moving about on the blessed solid ground, which I had taken for granted. In the midst of those moments atop the tower, I found myself thinking of the streamer Arcus and the idea of earning a living through gaming like he does. I had been a gamer since my childhood in 1986 when I first picked up an Atari 2600 joystick. Friends would often love to come watch me play. I was the one they all came to with questions for how to beat a game or how to get past a certain point or do I know a code? So I couldn't help but question, why hadn't I managed to build a following for myself in the gaming community? Certainly, I had experienced the thrill of streaming before, and I found it enjoyable. However, amidst the sea of streamers, becoming distinct and memorable felt like a daunting task. That's when the idea struck me. I needed to stand out, to have something unique to define my streaming persona. I needed a gimmick, something to make me stand apart from the countless other gaming streamers. It dawned on me as I recalled all the years of Halloween costume contests I participated, in which the winners were invariably men dressed as girls. The thought left me feeling underwhelmed, wondering, dressing up as a girl is something I engaged in regularly, and yet where was my recognition? Not necessarily that I craved it, mind you, but you see what I mean. So perhaps it was time that I made the wheel of fate turn in my direction myself. In 2013, I discovered the captivating world of Lolita fashion in Japan, particularly drawn to the subcategory of sweet Lolita. The pastel hues, cutesy motifs, and childlike charm of this style immediately resonated with my own experiences. It all made perfect sense, as my journey into such garments began at an early age, inspired by girls, not adult women. The anticipation and waiting for my first set of sweet Lolita dresses, wigs, socks, and shoes to arrive from the tailor felt agonizing. But the moment I finally received them, it was as though I had traveled back in time to the very origins of my fascination. That initial rush, the same one I had experienced as a boy, returned with even more intensity. It was a feeling of euphoria and nostalgia, reliving those cherished moments from my past. Needless to say, I immediately fell in love with this style and everything it had to offer. It was as if every little thing that I always loved about girly clothes was plucked out of my mind and made reality. It was during my exploration in the world of Lolita fashion that I stumbled upon the term Brolita, used to describe men who immerse themselves in the subculture. As the idea took shape in my mind, I realized that playing up this angle could be unique. Instead of acting cutesy, I would embrace a different persona, one that is unapologetic, crude, and rough around the edges, a character who drinks, swears, uses a death metal growl, and makes lewd jokes without reservation. And thus, the Raging Brolita was born. Despite my previous experiences in a physically dangerous job, wherein men have actually died, I found myself unexpectedly nervous for my debut in drag in November of 2018. However, when I considered the fact that I was safely indoors, in a warm room with a roof over my head, gaming while dressed in girls' clothes seemed relatively trivial in comparison. Unexpectedly, while immersed in a game of Mike Tyson's Punch-Out, my nose suddenly started bleeding.
Oh shit. My nose is bleeding. Why is my nose bleeding?
The reason for this sudden happening eludes me still.
What the fuck's happening? Can I even play right now? No, it's game over. This is blood. Why is there blood? Oh god. Oh shit. Okay, I'll be right back. No, I spilled the vodka. Fuck. Oh shit. What the fuck's happening?
Despite my initial nerves, I did have a great time during my Twitch streaming experience and successfully eventually became an affiliate. Unfortunately, due to the platform banning some of my emotes, I no longer stream there. It's perplexing. They allow e-harlots and hot tubs with suggestive angles, but pixel art panties with harmless messages like GG, good luck, and yay, cross the line. It confuses and vexes me. For this, there will be no forgiveness. May Twitch burn. You can find me on kick.com now. After a few years of embracing the persona of the Brolita, making friends and occasionally dealing with the inevitable trolls, I became intrigued by the rising popularity of VTubers.
Cat house? That's where I live. Oh.
Hi, this is a cat house. Gentlemen, do we have some nasty females for you?
I no longer live here.
They're caged and in heat. 45 minutes with one of our cats is $200. For $300, she's yours for 1.5 hours. Your money assures her obedience.
I dabbled with PNG tubing, finding it enjoyable, but my interest in VTubing grew stronger.
A few moments later.
Drawing on my experience as an artist, I created a Brolita avatar. And thankfully, or perhaps coincidentally, I already had a Leap motion controller at my disposal, which I used to manipulate my digital hands. I've been thoroughly enjoying my current setup, delving deeper into the lore of the Brolita, and embracing the sheer absurdity of it all.
Shit. Okay, well, down to visual lives now. Oh my fucking god damn! Well, I slammed my fists on my keyboard and somehow that turned off the emulator. That's like one of the most Brolita moments I could ever fucking have. Yeah, I beat the game. To death! Some pretty decent battles. You son of a bitch! Get down here so I kill you! Oh, you fuck. What?! Ah! No! Fucking shit! Damn cock ass fuck damn shit cunt fuck damn! Ah! Come on, come on, come on, come on, come on, come on! Yes! 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 Boom! Yes! Sub 15, motherfucker! 14:54! The Brolita clinches it! Last minute! Yeah, boys! Oh!
And of course, let's not forget the character's eccentric passion for women's underwear and socks, collecting them meticulously, even those from the 80s and 90s, still in their original packaging. Yes, everything that you see here are things that I actually own. This is a unique and quirky persona that I wanted, and it continues to captivate and entertain me. I know it may sound positively insane when I lay it all out like this, but it's the truth. And I fully embrace the eccentricity of it all and unapologetically own my passion for girls' socks and underwear. Who would have thought that a seemingly inconsequential pair of panties could have such a profound and lasting effect on someone? Sometimes the smallest things can have the biggest and craziest impacts on us, no? Aren't there things in your own youths that you inexplicably grew to love and it stayed with you until today? So, why am I telling all of you this? I can assure you, first of all, it's not for internet good boy points or something like that to be all, ooh, so stunning and brave, you really stuck it to those right-wingers, didn't you? No, none of that. Despite what some dumbass trolls have assumed immediately upon coming in and yelling at me on some of my streams, I am not pretending to be a woman, alright? I am a dude, a heterosexual dude, who just gets his rocks off from dressing like a girl. That's it. There's no deeper mystery than that. I'm not trying to make a statement or something. That's all. I just fucking love women's clothing, women's socks, women's underwear, and girls too, yes. That's it. What, are you gonna sit there and pretend you don't have a kink too that's off the beaten path? Nothing? You just like a man and a woman in the dark, in the missionary position, that's what you enjoy? Yeah, sure. But again, why am I telling all of you this? Well, as I've said, I've seen so many friends, family, and co-workers die over the years that it's made me realize I don't know how much time I've got left here on this stinking mudball. So, before I go, I just want my story to be told. Really, I can't think of any better explanation than that. And plus, like I said, because of what I've seen, what I've been through, I just tell the truth. And I believe people respond very well to that. Oh, and by the way, if anybody's curious, why do I sound so different right now? Because at the time of this recording, I had just woken up maybe 40 minutes ago. When I wake up, I don't know why, but I sound so much more deep and gravelly. I wish it was more consistent. I kind of like this. I did consider re-recording all of my narration like this, but then again, this is very temporary and it would take me forever to get this video out. I've already been working on it pretty feverishly for 2 weeks. I would like to just have it done, you know what I mean? Anyway, and that, boys and girls, is the story of how I became
The Raging Brolita.
a decades-old story of discovery, of secrecy, of pleasure, of pilfery, of guilt, of shame, fear, confession, absolution, acceptance, and ultimately, emergence. And all of this, all of it, came into being because some girl in the 80s got on the school bus wearing hot pink socks. Perhaps truth truly is stranger than fiction.